Hi guys. So we are back at it with another one, and that happens to be dinner. So as we see here, we have a rice recipe about to happen. This is kind of play on obviously Spanish rice, but I'm adding some fresh peppers and onions and chorizo. And we're gonna make some fried plantains and some mayo ketchup and a little small tomato salad. So let's get to it. So as you see here, I'm starting to cut up all my peppers, and I want to cut it up into strips. So that's what I'm gonna do here, is just cut those peppers up into small strips. Does not have to be perfect or in the same size. This is gonna cut down a lot, but we don't want to cut it too small that it disappears in the rice. We want to still have it visible. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple of medium sized or small onions, and we're going to just chop that up. Again, does not have to be perfect chopping, just slices of onion. Again, this is gonna cook down a lot in the rice. However, we still want it visible in the rice. Remember, we have sofrito in this rice as well, so this is more of like a texture and added flavor, because the sofrito adds a lot of flavor as it is. Now we're gonna go ahead and take a few sprigs of cilantro, and we're going to rinse that and just chop up some cilantro for our rice. Try not to add too much of the stem. I find the stems to be kind of sort of bitter. Some people like the stems. If you do, that's cool too. I'm more going here for the leafy part of the cilantro. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut up our plantains. Now you can easily put these plantains in warm water to help you peel them. That wasn't too necessary for these. They were already turning a little ripe. I got them just in time, so we were good. I noticed that this plantain, however, was bad as I was cutting through it, so I ended up tossing that one and getting another one. And we just want to peel off that plantain and just chop it up into pieces I find that sometimes you can get 5 to 6 pieces of plantain out of one plantain. So, and I'm here adding some garlic to some water that I have the plantain sitting in. And now this is not actually the chorizo I was looking for. Walmart actually gave me the wrong one. So the chorizo that you should get is the cured chorizo, because we want the chorizo to stay in whole when you cook this type of rice. But that wasn't the case. The chorizo, this type of chorizo, the casing is not edible, so you have to remove it from, you have to remove the chorizo from the casing. So you, by doing this, the chorizo kind of rarely stays intact when you're cooking it. It kind of breaks up into pieces, which it's okay, but typically for this type of rice you want it to be cured so it doesn't fall apart as you're cooking it. But it still came out good. We're just rolling with the punches here. So here I'm just going to take some oil. I'm using canola oil and putting some at the bottom of my caldero, which is normally a cast iron pot that a lot of Hispanic households have. And I'm taking a couple of spoonfuls of sofrito and adding it to that oil. Now guys, let me just tell you, for those that really do not use sofrito, when that sofrito hits hot oil, your whole home is engulfed in the smell that is just amazing. So here we're adding some sazon and some jamoncito, which is like powdered like pork seasoning, and we're just gonna mix that in, and we're gonna add some olives that are stuffed with pimentos. And here we're going to add our peppers, and then we're going to add our onions, and we're going to allow that to cook for a minute. I'm going to add that cilantro. Now mind you guys, sofrito already has peppers, onions, and cilantro, but again, we're just enhancing the flavor and adding some fresh veggies just to add texture and more flavor. As you guys saw here, I added the chorizo, and I'm adding a can of tomato sauce, and we're just gonna stir everything up. And this is precisely why you want to get chorizo that's cured, because as you see here, there's a lot of stirring, which is why it falls apart. And now I did wash my rice ahead of time. I washed it twice. That is just, that was raised to wash the pot. I'm sorry, to wash the rice. So please, wash your rice. And I added that in, and I'm just gonna stir it with all the seasoning. And my husband's here recording for me to make it a little easier. Now we're gonna add some water. So I feel like it needs a little bit more water, so add it just a little more. And then I'm gonna add a little salt. and then we're going to put it on medium heat and close it. And guys, do not touch your rice pot until that water disappears. So we're going to start frying our totones here. Now we're gonna start getting started on our mayo ketchup. So some people use fresh garlic, some people use powdered garlic. When I make my mayo ketchup, I use both. We're a garlic household. So I'm gonna go ahead and just peel about, normally I would have done, for the amount of mayo ketchup I did, about 3 cloves of garlic, but these garlic cloves were small, so I did about 4 or 5 cloves. And then we're just going to use a garlic press. You can chop it up. I personally chop up my garlic, but for mayo ketchup I always use a garlic press. I feel like it just releases a lot more of the oils of the garlic, and it just infuses the sauce a lot better, in my opinion. Now we're just going to take some mayo. I prefer regular mayonnaise, guys. I know some of us like avocado mayo and like olive oil, mayo with olive oil in it. Personally, when it comes to mayo ketchup, I use regular mayo. We gotta check up on our totones. We can't let them burn. So there I go with the garlic powder, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. So I had to go in for a second taste because the first time I wiped my hand on the spatula, I got a load of salt, and it was because when I put salt, all the salt fell on the spoon or the spatula. So I had to make sure I didn't just ruin it. So now we are going to take it old school and start smashing our plantains, but I'm going to use 2 plates instead of a plantain smasher or tostonera, whatever it is, however you want to call it. I just like the way the plates smashes the tostones better, because I love thin tostones, and I feel like sometimes the totoneras do not does not smash it thin enough. So we're gonna start double frying our tostones until they are golden brown and crispy. Let's check on our rice now. And as we see, all that water has evaporated. So we're just gonna flip up our rice and put it on medium low and let it cook. So here we are gonna make our small tomato salad. I am the only one that likes tomatoes in this house. My husband does not. So this is really for me. So we're gonna slice up some plum tomatoes. This reminds me of my great grandma. She would always just make a small tomato salad on the side of dinner. So I'm going to go ahead and add some red wine vinegar and some olive oil. And I have the salad seasoning from Goya that I'm going to add half a packet. And I'm also going to add this McCormick Salad Supreme seasoning. That's really good. And I'm going to mix that up. And we are done with the tomato salad. Have one for a taste. Alright, those tostones are looking bomb.com. Alright, I had to sneak in a taste, guys. Don't tell the hubby. Look at that rice. Literally, you don't need anything else. The chorizo is all the protein you need for this dinner. Gonna add some fresh cilantro on top along with that little tomato salad, and dinner is done, guys. I hope you enjoy. Please like, follow, and subscribe for more.